Hello my little lovebirds, TonyaTko here, and today is the continuation to the last video that I did. I tried to keep everything pretty much the same, but I made 4 changes, and I'm going to give you guys a trivia at the end of this video, and I'm going to give out a prize to the person who can name 3 out of the 4 changes that I made. So listen. Oh, we got into it the other day, didn't we? Talking about, well, first we started out talking about whether or not you would date a person who wore rundown shoes. And then that led into a tremendous conversation, which led to a video that got cut off, and hence why I'm here today making this video. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this video, but basically I wanted to follow up because I felt like I wasn't able to get my full point out, especially when the video ended. Because listen, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing wrong with being attracted to a person who you feel have similarities with you, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be with a person who is financially stable. But I wanted to talk to you guys to just get you to understand that it's okay to want a person who can take care of a family, okay to want a person who's going to be a good member of a family, but some of you are out there backward gold digging in the dark with negative game, and you're coming at it from a very twisted standpoint because you're using non-qualifiers to qualify or disqualify a person based on trivial and superficial things, which may or may not be an indicator of success. And I'm going to help some of you out because some of you are looking at shoes, watches, cars, and you're using this to determine how a person is going to be a future mate, etc. One person, what was her name? Gabrinik. She said that a person who had dirty shoes it was an indicator that this person did not have good morals or would not be able to teach good morals or hygiene to their children. Now, I was confused as to what rundown shoes have to do with morals. You know, we talked about the list. We talked about the 5 different things to look for in a mate, and I'm not really sure how rundown shoes is an indicator of morals, values, integrity, spirit, or aligned goals. But I wanted to ask you ladies, what does how much money a man spends on himself, what does that have to do with you? What does that have to do with you or your future family? I want you to think about that. How does it serve you and your kids for your mate to be a person who spends good money on shoes? How does that help you? I want you to think about that. And then also, I want you to keep in mind that this person could be selfish. He could have nice shoes, granted, but he could be selfish and he could be spending most of that money on himself. Or he could know that these little trinkets attract other women, and he could be using these trinkets, the cars, the watch, the clothes, using these trinkets to attract other women. How does that serve you? And then also, in the last respect, all of his money could be spent. All of these trinkets could be an indication that his money is gone. It's gone on trinkets. So how? I want to know, ladies, gentlemen, how? How does this benefit you? So listen, I want you to just always keep in mind that you never really know when you're looking at the outward appearance of a person what's really going on under the surface, and you never really know which way the tide will blow. For example, some of you are disqualifying men based on height. Well, guess what? Tall men can have short kids. Good-looking men can make ugly babies. And men with flashy things could be cheap as I don't know what. You know, so you have to, they could be cheap or even worse, broke. So you have to use some other qualifying aspects to be able to determine whether or not this person is the right person for you. You have to keep in mind that men who employ these tactics know that fish respond to shiny things. There's this sport out there. I want somebody to write in the comments below. There's a sport where they don't even put, I think it's called fly fishing. I'm not sure, but they don't even put anything that the fish can eat on the hook. They just put something shiny on there, and then the fish just open wide and just gulp onto it. Much like some of you ladies, we're gonna talk about that in a second, because it's like you see these shiny things, and then you think to yourself, oh my goodness, a lot of women are going to want, or a lot of other fish are going to want this shiny thing. So I have to do something above and beyond, and you get into the competing with other women. And then the next thing you know, you're using negative game. You got too excited, you're competing with other women, then you sleep with him too soon because you're like, oh, I have to do something that no other woman is going to do. So I have to, you know, go above and beyond. I have to give him this, or else I'm going to lose him. He's not going to stay around if I don't give him, you know, coochie. Which is negative game, girls, because if you really know what you're doing, you know that you won't give that up too soon. And I need to do a whole entire video about that. I need to do a whole entire video about that because, oh goodness, because men do not want loose women. I have to do an entire video about that, but don't worry, we're going to get to that. But ladies, I wanted you to know and to please keep in mind that the best looking men make the worst husbands. The best looking men make the worst husbands. I was reading about this phenomenon. Some of you may disagree. Tell me what you think about it below. But remember when I was talking about the five different things to look for before the 5 different ways to catch a husband? And one of those things was when his looks begin to deteriorate, when his hair starts to bald out a little bit. And unfortunately, a man who is physically or aesthetically pleasing is going to have a constant access to other women, because other women see him and they evolutionarily speaking, they get this desire to copulate with him short term so that they can be able to produce good looking kids. Because animals in the animal kingdom, animals who have particular traits are better able to survive in the wild. In the human kingdom, better looking people have a greater chance of success than lesser better looking people. I don't want to be mean to anyone. But better looking people have a greater chance of success, so therefore people are drawn to copulating with good looking people. So the better looking your man is, the more access he has to different women, the more other women are going to be trying to get at your man. And listen, but how does this serve you? How does this serve you? Because these men are being treated, the best looking men are treated and considered like studs. The men who have the best physical attributes, now it varies from society to society, but they're basically used for their penis. And you know, that's quite all right with one too many men. But ladies, what I'm saying is you have to have this man qualify himself. You have to hold him accountable to being a good person, to educating himself, to having values, morals, ethics, integrity, to having a good spirit, to creating some goals and hobbies. You know, and somebody told me today, he said that you should ask when you meet a man, ask him ask him what his hobbies are, especially if you know it's a good-looking, sporty man. You know, ask him what his hobbies are. And if he has no hobbies, his hobbies could be the sport of catching women. You never know. Listen. You know what? You really don't know, because, oh, speaking of sport and catching women, ladies, do you know that, I don't remember which game it was. I think it might have been Grand Theft Auto. There was some, I don't remember what it was. It was some game. And as a part of the game, this guy had like a girlfriend. And you had to, it was like a girl that he kind of liked, she kind of liked him. And you had to do the necessary things to get this girl to sleep with him and also to stay with him. And it's like, you had to like buy her stuff, you had to spend time with her, you had to do all of these different little things. So it was like this guy, he was going out killing. And then there was this aspect of it. So it's like, getting a woman to sleep with you for the very first time is a sport for many men. So ladies, listen, I don't want you to be a fish out there getting caught up on these shiny hooks. You know what? And the reason why I'm so upset, ladies, is because there's a rumor going around that you all are saying, because you know what, I talk to a lot of men day in and day out, and there's a rumor going around, women, that we say we want one thing, that you guys are saying you want one particular thing, and you're saying you want certain characteristics in men, but yet you're going after men who are exhibiting the opposite characteristics of what it is you say that you want. Evolutionarily speaking, let's just talk about human females and other mammals like us. How do I put this? It behooves us as human females to have a man who is going to be faithful to us and who's going to provide for our family so that when we are pregnant and rearing children, that the family can survive. So it behooves us to mate with men who are going to, number one, be faithful, because when a man is unfaithful, so let me come on, let's get the diagram up. Let's get the diagram up and going. Ladies, it is in our DNA, in our nature, to want a man who is going to be faithful to us. Here we go. We need a man who is going to be faithful to us so that when we have little children, the children will be able to be provided for, right? When you get with a man, when you start getting with men who understand the game and understand that, you know, some women are like fish and they love the trinkets and all of that, you then have a man who knows how to play the game. And then you have a man who's out there with other women. And when you get with a man who is into playing this game, putting out the trinkets to catch all these women, you have to wonder, what are all these trinkets for? What's going on? When you get with a man who's not faithful, right? This is why it is the biggest fear of, this is why it's such a huge problem for women to be with a man who's unfaithful, because when this person goes out there and has other children, you have to split your resources, your time, and all of that stuff. You have to split your resources. When this person goes over there, you have to split your resources with your 2 children, with their 3 children. That's 5. And then when he goes out there, and then you got, I mean, think about it. When you ask these men, ask them, how many children do you have? You know, you're over here looking at how many cars they got. All that money could be spent on kids, ladies. You really don't know. You don't know. Listen, you're over there worried about how shiny things are. And then even worse, if they're not taking care of their kids, that's a really big indicator that something's wrong. And something's going to be wrong when a man is not taking care of his children. But you know what? There's so many women out there who are like, oh, I just want to copulate with you. They just want to have good-looking kids. That they'll be like, oh, I'll take care of the kids myself. You don't worry. You go off and you do whatever it is that you need to do. Ladies, I just want you to just open up your eyes. You know, we got these men out here, these peacocks, I'll call them, who know how to lay out this big feathery plume so that it's just so gigantic and so beautiful, so that you, like a little peahen, it's just pecking all over the place, just trying to get up on this peacock. And there's no substance to it. And you have to realize, number one, what looks good to you looks good to other women too. And this is when you get into this whole category of competing with other women and all this other stuff and blah, 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 blah. And we're going to talk a little bit more about men and some of the things that keep men faithful. Okay, number one, right? When a man, when a man is tremendously interested in all these good outward shows of fashion and beauty and all this other stuff, trying to be the most beautiful man he can be, you have to know that this is it's all advertisement. He's either looking good like that for other women, or he's looking good like that for other men. Choose your pick. Choose your pick, ladies. And then this is how we end up getting caught up with these dandies and you know, with their little frilly shirts and all the little trinkets and all this cross-gender type of things, and we end up getting caught up with gay men. Because honestly speaking, ladies, listen, I'm gonna put you in on a little secret. Okay, I'm gonna put you in on a little secret. Listen. The average heterosexual man, the average heterosexual man without female influence is not going out there getting manis and petties. Come on, listen. He's not getting manis and petties. He's not out at the nail salon talking about, oh, I gotta get my nails done. You know what? I'm sorry. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. I mean, but you know what? Listen. Think about it. The average heterosexual man is not worrying about what is the latest in fashion and the fashion trends and being fashionable and all this and looking so pretty. He's not worried about all of that. So you know what, ladies? We start getting caught up. We start getting caught up in all of these you know, I don't know how to put it, but we start getting caught up in these showy, these little fashion, these showy show and tell, these fashionable things, these trinkets, caught up on the outside of these men. We start getting caught up in that, and we really let a lot of good men go by. You know, I personally think that a lot of good men out there are works in progress. Remember the 80-20 rule? Remember the 80-20 rule? Listen, remember the 80-20 rule. You gotta catch a man when he's 80% complete, ladies. Catch him when he's 80% complete. By the time you meet a man out there who's wearing guy liner and all types of makeup and stuff, okay, sorry. You shouldn't be going for a man with guy liner. Well, you could be a rock star. I don't know. But listen. Okay, listen. Okay, let's get back to the video. Listen, get a man who's 80% complete. You know, I mean, listen, something like shoes and the watch and all that other stuff. Listen, believe me, there's a price that comes along with chasing after a man who is at the stage in his life where he's using all of these showy things to catch women. And then after you get into the relationship with him and then you just watch him, see how things go on. Watch him, watch as he rocks and rolls, see how he's going out there and what he's doing. He's getting dressed up like this for a reason. There's a reason. I don't know if he's out there trying to attract other women. I don't know. Maybe it's just for him. You know, listen to that song, The Power of the P, blank, 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 Y. You know? These men are doing these things so that they could get inside of some stuff. Oh, but let's move on. Number one, we don't know if flashiness, flashiness, we don't know what it's an indicator of. Flashiness, those outward trinkets could be an indicator of somebody who is either, number one, okay, listen. There are flashy men who spend, and there are flashy men who don't spend. There are non-flashy men who spend and non-flashy men who don't spend. You know, it really depends on the person, so you really don't know. Generosity, how generous a man is going to be with you has nothing to do with his shoes. You know, you have to if you want to know how generous a man is, there's so many different ways to come about this. If you want to, some of us, we're just going about it the wrong way. If you want to know how generous a man is, you have to really get to know this person. Look around in his life, ask questions, talk to him, see how he treats his mother. Go and see how he treats his home. You know, and if he has a Mercedes and he's in a rundown apartment, this is an indicator that something is wrong. This is something wrong. He's not fit to run a household. You know, you really have to take the time to get to know a person, because flashiness could be a sign of success and savings, right? Or it could be a sign of irresponsibility. It could be a sign of irresponsibility and overspending. So how will you know this until you get to know a person? Really take your time, ladies. You have to get into a person's head, talk to them. Remember, if you go back to that video, the 5 things you should be looking for in a man. You got to talk to the person and get to know them and find out. I definitely don't want you to go out there getting tricked by somebody who's throwing out some flashy hook into the water and they really are of no substance. They got no savings. Their stuff is all abandoned, you know, and then their stuff is all, they got no house. They just got these trinkets, and you're like, oh, he got money, and I gotta sleep with him. The next thing you know, you've been bagged and had. You've been bagged and had. If you want to know, number one, different men are going to be generous for different reasons. A man is more likely to be generous with you if he's into you, or if he wants to get in. I put that in quotation marks. In you. So it's your best bet to take your time. Take your time and get to know a person. If he's into you and he likes you and he already has a generous spirit and a generous nature, you're going to get all of those things of generosity that you want and feel that you need and deserve. As the princess that you are, so you can have somebody take you out and take you shopping and buy your little shoes and your handbag and just feel so great and all this other stuff, right? Okay, I'm gonna sum up this video and end it. Because I hear people talking about how a good man is hard to find. But you have to realize, right? You have to realize that the empty barrel makes the most noise. And there are a lot of good men out there. Good men. Hard working men. And you know, and I told you guys about my dad. My dad was always there for us. And there's a lot of good men, good hard-working men out there who don't know anything about pedicures and manicures. They're 80% complete. Work with him on the other 20%. Treat your man to a pedicure. My goodness, get the nail file out yourself and clip up his nails and buff his toes and do all of those little things that you want him to have. But when there's a man is doing all of this on his own, you have to sit back and look and wonder. Women primp. If you got a man who's primping, you know, there could be something wrong with that picture. I knew a guy, I dated a guy. Oh, he was so fine. And but he used to lock himself in the bathroom before like going out, and he used to be in there for so long, and I started getting concerned about him after a while, because you know, he was wearing contact lenses like the colored ones, and he didn't have any prescription issue. And then what do you think about this? I found out that he was wearing makeup. Listen, ladies, something's going on. You know, they got, what is it called? Oh, I forgot what it's called. Guy makeup. I forgot what it's called. But there's a name for it. Men are starting to wear makeup nowadays. The whole world is changing. But you know what? I wonder if we don't want, do we not want men who work hard? Because you know what, ladies? We got to talk about this. We got to talk about this we got to talk about this. Let me just talk about this real quick. You know, you can find a good, you know, so many women are looking for the big lavish life. You remember I told you about all of the women chasing after this small group of men who look good and got money? Well, you know what? These men know that they look good. This is 4% of the population. And believe me, lots of women want those men. You want to live like a princess. No, unfortunately, it's not available to all of us. Don't hold out wasting up your youth. You know what? Oh my goodness. don't go wasting up your youth chasing after these guys getting used and abused because there's more where you came from, etc., etc. I know a woman who's 40 now. I've known her for 15 years. She's been chasing after this one good-looking guy. He's given her an STD. He's gotten another woman pregnant. He tried to get her involved in some threesome. She's given him money. He's used and abused her. It's crazy. So she went from being 25, 15 years later, now she's 40, chasing after this man. Now she has, I don't want to say too much, but what I'm saying is, right? Don't, as a woman, waste your youth chasing after these men, getting used and abused, building up your baggage and coming back after you didn't have 1 or 2 or 3 babies by men who are not taking care of them. Ladies, tell me, have any of you, what is, just like in high school, all those good-looking popular people, what came of it? What significance did that have in their lives after high school? What significance does having the best looking man on the block, or the man, that comes with a cost? It comes with the cost of all of these other ladies, all these other fish looking for their trinkets always. And listen, we know about the nature of men. I'm not going to make any excuses for them. But evolutionary speaking, men have come from a different standpoint than we do. But listen, ladies, you can find a man who's making $45K a year. And you add that with your $35K. I don't know how much you're making, what it is that you're doing. And you will have, look, do the math on that. You'll have an $80,000 household at the end of the year. And if he's making 65 and you're making 55, you guys are in the 6 figures. What I'm saying is you can have a really good life with a man who is not necessarily in the upper echelons of richness, because that comes with a cost as well, because then you as a woman have to be one of the, we were going to talk about how to stop a man from cheating. He has to be, you and him have to be best friends. Either that, or either you guys are going to be really, really close friends, you really get to know a person, or you're going to have to be one of the most beautiful women he's ever seen. That way he does not want to take any chance of losing you. So ladies, I'm not telling anybody to settle. That's not what I'm here to do. But I want women, I want you guys to be realistic and think about what it is that makes a person a good mate. And there could be some things that are just backwards to what makes a person a good mate. I wanted to let me leave you guys with on this note, right? I did that video, 10 questions every mate must answer. Well, I'm going to give you some things that you need to think about when you're dealing with a man. I need you to find out what are his ideas on divorce. What are his ideas on cheating? What are his ideas on leaving his family, leaving his kids, moving away, not being there every day? What are his ideas on that? And 4, what type of leader is this man? Is he a good leader that can be the leader of your household, somebody that you can look up to? These are things that you must have somebody qualify and quantify. Okay, it's good for him to be good looking. But what are his ideas on divorce? Is he the type of person? I asked a question on Facebook today. If your mate, and if you're not on my Facebook, please come over to my Facebook, facebook.com/TonyaTko show. If your mate was hiding their phone or whatever, what would you do? And people were like, divorce. And I'm like, did no counseling, nothing, just go straight for divorce? So you have to find out whether or not you guys are in line. Let me get off of the video because this is getting really long, but listen, here we go. I changed 4 things, and I need you guys, if you guys can tell me 3 out of the 4, I have an autographed picture for you, because I know you guys are very observant. So I made a video the other day, and I tried to recreate the look, except I changed 4 things today. If you can tell me 3 out of those 4, I have an autographed TonyaTko picture for you. This, ooh, and bow. So listen, that is it for me. I am out of here. I love you guys very, very much. Come over to my Facebook, my Twitter, subscribe to my videos here. And come over to my website, tkoworld.net. And I'm speaking live in New York, September 24th. And I'll see you guys then. TonyaTko, and I'm out. Peace.